I read was Storms of My Grandchildren by James Hansen. This book was a moving depiction of Hansen's research and experiences on climate change. He predicted a future of climate chaos, as he puts it, and warns the reader of what's coming and what he's experienced with governments shutting him down on trying to tell them about climate change and get them to change policy in order to protect our future and the future of our grandchildren. James Hansen is trained in astronomy, physics, and mathematics, and originally studied Venus and Jupiter, even sending projects there. But at some point, he decided he didn't want to study other planets anymore because there was something much more interesting unfolding on our own planet, and he switched to study Earth's atmosphere and climate, then became one of the leading climate scientists as he studied the effects of CO2 emissions on global warming and made some pretty big predictions that are now unfolding before our eyes. Hansen wanted to do the science and not the talking and informing. He didn't speak out about his science for a very long time, but inevitably it became clear that he needed to do something to make people understand his research and understand global warming. He makes the point to say that he doesn't want his grandchildren to look back and say, Opa understood what was happening, but he did not make it clear. He decided to speak out, and he wanted it to just be a one-and-done thing, but it became clear people weren't getting what he was saying, and that something needed to happen. So he started giving more and more interviews, but still people weren't getting it. He was shot down multiple times by the government because the research and the conclusions that he was making made people in power fear losing control. He spoke to the Bush administration on his 60th birthday in hopes to get them to understand climate change and change policy. But that didn't work. They shut him down and reduced his funding. He also tried to speak out to the media, but NASA, whom employed him at the time, tried to silence him with rules about speaking to the media, and that's what made him change his mind about staying in the shadows with his science and write this book. Through the book, he shares his research and conclusions about the high percentage of CO2 in the air, how it's going to and has already affected our planet. His goal was to make people understand what's going on and what needs to change. James Hansen makes the claim that we need to put in some type of policy on fossil fuels and other forms of carbon dioxide emitters in order to help save our planet. Hansen wants to add fees to fossil fuel companies at the site and give them back to the public in an attempt to encourage people and businesses to become more energy efficient and minimize use of fossil fuels. I would recommend this book to friends and family in order to help them see the truth about climate change, get facts, and understand that something needs to change in order to save our dying planet. I know it's affected me.